What hellbound soul could end a royal life?
O Lodestar, whose light reveals the king's own path, awaken.
One has to ask, who shall take the throne?
My home and my family were taken from me. And in the name of my people, I will strike you down where you stand!
Though Metaphor ReFantazio is the former Persona team's first foray into high fantasy, it might also be the most grounded and deeply human game they've ever created. By weaving magical elements with universal topics, such as prejudice, poverty, grief, cycles of violence, anxiety, and the role religion and politics can play in both oppressing and empowering the people, Metaphor is able to examine humanity with some distance and through a unique lens. It poses countless questions to its players, all while admitting the answers might not be simple or absolute. And yet, it places special emphasis on one question in particular. Does fiction have the power to shape our world?
I am Haisme Nocturne. I believe the arc of life depends not upon birth. By these hands soiled or sinless, I fight!
By the time the game comes to a close, the answer is a resounding yes. Metaphor ReFantazio is a beautiful exploration into how fantasy is a vessel for ideas and humanity, even in the darkest of times. It understands the impact that art and the ideas transferred through it have on society, and asks us to both believe in and scrutinize the media we consume. The game's cast of characters, from bubbly blonde pop star Juna and the wizened ninja Haisme, to the disgraced yet beloved Luis, are all well-designed, well-voiced, and utterly engaging, making them instantly appealing or detestable to players. Each offers their own exploration into the various aforementioned themes, weaving stories that are equal parts heart-wrenching and heartwarming. This depth is also afforded to the game's numerous side characters, which comprise the greatest and most fully realized roster of social links in an Atlus game thus far. The studio handles all these narratives with nuance and precision, demonstrating a respect for its players' intelligence, as well as immense conviction in its own beliefs. In a time when games are all too often criticized for being too political, Atlus takes a firm stand on the side of compassion and makes it clear that there is virtue in addressing social issues, taking collective action, standing up for your ideas, and believing in a better future for both yourself and those around you.
In my ideal world, people can believe in their future. Their birth doesn't matter. No matter who someone is, they deserve a fair country.
Despite being a lengthy game, Metaphor is phenomenally paced, with an appropriate amount of time dedicated to each area, character, and story arc. These arcs are all particularly memorable too, as the game is filled with spectacle, off-the-wall situations that ward off any monotony, and plenty of compelling plot twists. In that sense, the game often reminded me of the late 90s JRPGs I grew up playing, the ones filled with theatrics, humor, and a keen sense of adventure. It's an almost intangible and indescribable quality, but one that Metaphor undoubtedly possesses. And yet, Metaphor markedly improves old-school turn-based combat, addressing the most common complaints with the system, namely its slower pace, through smart button mapping, superb party flexibility, and the addition of light action-style combat. This all makes for battles that are strategic yet breezy, and dungeon traversal that doesn't overstay its welcome or begin to feel more like a chore than an adventure. The game's other systems, from its calendar and royal virtues to its archetype tree, perfectly fit within the combat, creating dynamic gameplay that feels interconnected and immensely satisfying. Remarkable art direction and music further elevate the experience. As rather than use a single color palette as Persona typically does, Metaphor leverages several different colors to convey various themes, tones, and amplify its sense of journey. Its music is similarly complex and juxtaposing, as it bounds between angelic choirs to frenzied chanting. Though its stories might be universal, there's an otherworldly quality to its visuals and music, reminding players that this world is dark and fantastical.
Alright, how's that? We strike first! This is our chance!
Regardless of when Metaphor ReFantazio was released, it would remain an exceptional title. But in the year 2024, a year marred by political unrest, growing inequality, fear, distrust, misinformation, and division, no game feels quite as apt and essential. While not every work of fiction can change the world, or instill within it a goodness that has been seemingly stripped away, Metaphor ReFantazio is a reminder that art can change us.
This is the way of the real world, little lordling!
If that's the real world,
Then it can die alongside you!
When I'm down, when I struggle, you're always there to help me through it. And I hope that someday, we can make our kingdom like the place in this book. Let's do it. You'll be a hero. Trust me.